and welcome to This Is Austin. Why should Google and or OnePlus make me care about Android?
So over the last week or two, I've been spending a lot of time with not only the Pixel 5, but also the OnePlus 8T. There's a lot going for both of these phones, but there's definitely a few reasons why the Pixel 5 has made it to my front pocket, not my back pocket. That's for my iPhone or whatever secondary phone I'm using.
This is the first phone that has made you ignore the Galaxy Z Flip.
Out of all of the insanely cool, exciting, great phones that have come through the studio in 2020, the Z Flip has been my daily driver, my main phone ever since February. First the 4G model, then the 5G.
And he has not shut up about the Z Flip. So this is big news.
So here's the thing, right? I like a small phone, right? That's one of the things that's important to me because we've hit a point where even a mid-range phone like the Pixel 5 has a Snapdragon 765G, same processor inside like the OnePlus Nord and like the LG Velvet and the LG Wing, 100% fine, right? Yes, do I notice a little bit of a performance hit? Sure. But because I have my 90 Hz display, I kind of don't mind that much as that's a major improvement over the Z Flip.
I care so much more about how a device feels in my hand than I do about the specs in it. And this is one of the best feeling phones I've ever felt.
So they've done a couple of things uniquely to the Pixel. So, in fact, since we have the OnePlus right here, it's a good example of a very traditional smartphone design. So it's got a metal aluminum chassis, and you have glass on the front, glass on the back. This is fine, there's nothing wrong with this, but I don't feel comfortable with any glass back phone without some kind of protection, be it a skin, be it a case, be it a later case, which is what I usually run on something like an iPhone. The Pixel 5 feels 100% safe because it is an aluminum build, right? So it's aluminum unibody, so it's just a nice taper.
Right.
But it has this sort of, I don't even know how to describe it.
It's very. I don't think there's anything else that does have this type of finish on it. So it's not. I can't even be like, oh, it feels like this phone.
It's like painted, slightly plastically soft. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's nice,
soft. Soft to the touch, but it's textured. I had said that it feels kind of like a composite plastic you see in packing materials, but in a good way. What are you doing?
I'm just showing that it's terrible.
You're gonna break it.
Let's be fair to the OnePlus 8T, right? I feel like we're immediately jumping into Pixel Town, which I think is a place that I've not been in a while. So the OnePlus 8T is the only new OnePlus that we're getting right now. So there's not like an 8T Pro or anything. This replaces the OnePlus 8. There's a lot going for this phone for sure.
Yeah.
So we have now a ridiculously fast 65 watt fast charging, or warp charging as they call it.
But no wireless charging.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I am a big fan of wireless charging. I usually wireless charge my devices. The Pixel, even though it's aluminum, it does have wireless charging built in. Hallelujah.
And reverse wireless charging.
And reverse wireless charging,
So, charge your beans, charge your headphones, whatever.
Charge your I was about to say OnePlus, but you can't do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
But as much as I like wireless charging, and it is a helpful thing to have, I will happily trade that for this. So 65 watts seems fast, right? I mean, this is a fast charging device, and it's 18 watts, right? No. 65 is crazy fast.
Let me poke a hole in that for you. That 65 watts is only with their charger, right?
Yes.
It's not like you can say grab a 100 watt or 65 watt laptop charger and
you can still charge it quickly. I believe
but it's not the full.
I'll rely on Jimmy to fact check me. I believe you can charge up to 27 watts with a generic USB brick. And the power brick that comes with the OnePlus 8T will actually charge your laptop or something at 45 watts. So that one charger actually can be the only USB-C
which is nice. I do carry around just a 100 watt USB I think it's like an old Razer Blade laptop charger, and that's just my USB-C charger for everything.
Yeah. It's only until you spend some time with something that charges this fast that you really get your head around how nice it is. So for context, the other day I was down to 15%. It was in the morning because why would you charge it so overnight when you can just plug it in really quick, right? So 15%. Plug it in with the warp charge, and about 10 minutes or so is at 50%. 50.
Yeah, okay.
Crazy town. That is crazy town. I have completely changed my charging habits with this phone. I'll just plug it in when I just need a quick charge. Literally, I'll go down to the bathroom, I'll walk back upstairs. Oh, cool, I got another 15, 20%. It's very impressive.
And it's hard for me, I mean, yeah, that is really fast, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around, changing my charging habits. I'm so focused on something like wireless charging. Like, my mouse pad has a wireless charger in it.
Sure.
So I just throw my phone down, and it's charging just throughout the,
Totally.
just by how I would naturally set it down on the table anyway.
Before we get too far into the video, just to put some context into this, right now the Pixel 5 costs $700, not cheap, and the OnePlus 8T here in the United States costs $750. However, I will say in much of the world it is cheaper because we only get the 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gig storage model. So in a lot of other places, it's roughly $100 equivalent cheaper, right? So generally speaking, the OnePlus is cheaper than the Pixel in most markets, right? So just keep that in mind as we talk through these phones, because this has become a very, very competitive space with things like the upcoming iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini. You've got the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. There's a lot of phones in this roughly $700 price point. For me, the hardware of the Pixel is really what pushes it over the edge for, again, I want to be very clear, for me personally, because there are a lot of disadvantages when you look at the Pixel versus the OnePlus. I love the feel of it. I love the size. So this is very similar in size to something like an iPhone 11 Pro. Definitely smaller than most flagships. I mean, you just see them side by side.
So you can see it compared to a regular iPhone 11. It is a good deal smaller.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the size too. But I'll tell you that actually makes me more excited for the iPhone mini, just because, again,
a lot smaller.
smaller.
Yeah.
I'm so much a proponent of, I want a smaller phone. Now this feels super comfortable size-wise, but I think it could be better. That's my ding on something like the OnePlus. It's so tall.
So here's the thing. The OnePlus is a big phone, right? OnePluses have always been larger phones. Yeah. I will say personally, this is not a size that I love. So again, not just speaking as advice for you to pick up a new phone, but just for me, Austin Evans, I don't like phones that are this big. It's also a little on the heavy side. But I think with so many phones and so many flagships being this sort of glass and metal design, OnePlus have done a great job as always. But the Pixel just feels refreshing. Now, if we step away from the actual hardware for a second, there are some major advantages on the OnePlus side that everyone in the comments, I'm sure, is screaming right now. Better processor, 865 versus a 765G. Essentially, this is a mid-range processor, so what you get on the Pixel 4a 5G, the OnePlus Nord, and again, the LG Velvet as well as the LG Wing, and a lot of other sort of upper mid-range devices. It does have 5G, and the Pixel actually does have millimeter wave as well as sub-6, whereas this only has sub-6 5G. So a slight advantage there. Although, if you look at the pricing on the Pixel 4a 5G, they charge an extra $100 to get millimeter wave, whereas built in by default on the Pixel 5. If I could save $100 and pull millimeter wave out of it, I would definitely do that, because I think this at a $600 price point would be a very compelling deal.
It's interesting. This is not so much about the Pixel. It's just in general right now, because there's so many, like, 5G is just not really rolled out in so many markets.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of baffling to me that there are so many different phones with different SKUs of because, all right, whether you're millimeter wave or sub-6 or whatever, I mean, the millimeter wave variant, that is only for a small group of people in like 3 US cities right now.
It depends on which network you're on. It is rolling out quickly.
Yeah.
But like the thing with millimeter wave is that it's great if you have line of sight, essentially. Like you drop off that really quick. And let's be real, as long as I get decent downloads, I don't really care if I'm getting gigabit speeds, like,
I mean, your most day-to-day, that was fast enough with LTE.
Yep.
So, are you going to notice, an extra 2/3 of a second? Like,
yes,
maybe.
I count every second. Another advantage for the OnePlus 8T is the screen. So this has a 120 hertz display compared to 90 on the Pixel. I will say it's not really much of a contest. While the OnePlus screen might not be quite as good as some of the upper end flagships, while it has the refresh rate, the actual quality of the panel is, I would say, very good, but not excellent. There's still a little bit of like rainbowing off axis, but the Pixel doesn't run it at a consistent 90. So this is a real problem on the Pixel 4, and that a lot of apps would run at 60. It would kind of be a little inconsistent because you can't just force 90 hertz on without diving into kind of getting into a little bit more on Tweak Town. The Pixel 5 also has a little bit of an issue there where I can just visually see some apps don't seem to run at 90. Now, that being said, the Pixel has excellent battery life largely because of that, right? It's got a more efficient processor. It's got still a very large 4,000 milliamp hour battery and a very small form factor. But the screen is...
Yeah, it's a smaller screen and it's a lower refresh rate. So just more power efficient. We talk about like the 120 versus the 90. You know, we do them side by side, and you can definitely tell the difference when you're doing them side by side. In a vacuum, you know, the Pixel works really well. So like,
for sure.
if you're just picking it up and you're not used to 90 hertz, like I don't really have anything that's high refresh rate. It's a lot faster than like my iPhone.
Yeah.
So
it's an improvement.
Yeah.
I will just say that it very much feels like a half step, right? If you have like a 60 hertz like iPhone here, you have a Pixel and a OnePlus. The OnePlus feels significantly faster for multiple reasons. It's got better specs and it's got a faster screen. So for many years, the Pixel was pretty much hands down the best smartphone camera you could get, right? It wasn't really a competition. Now OnePlus has always been, I would say, a step or two behind. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily a fair thing to throw at the OnePlus 8T, but it doesn't have as good of a camera. So if I was gonna grade it, if I was gonna pull out a Marquez style rating, I'd probably still give it this like a B and this an A, right? The OnePlus has a ton of cameras and almost none of these are actually all that useful. So you have an ultra wide, pretty good actually.
Yeah, I prefer ultra wide over telephoto any day.
Agreed. You have a pretty decent 48 megapixel main sensor. It is a much larger sensor. It's the sort of 2020 style, like I think it's a 1/1.8 inch sensor. Larger sensor, decent image quality, not always spectacular, but pretty good. But then you have a macro camera, which I'll just be real, is complete trash. You have a monochrome sensor, never gonna use that. And you have two flashes for some reason, mostly to make this nice and symmetrical.
Now, are they using the monochrome for like more detail in like portrait sharpening?
No,
nothing?
As far as I know, you use the monochrome only for when you're just taking a black and white still. It's still taking on the main camera, but it's using the monochrome data to like...
Interesting.
Look, they put it there because they wanted to tell you that it has 4 cameras and it looks more symmetrical. The Pixel goes for a much more simple strategy. So instead of having the telephoto from last year, we have an ultra wide. Thank the holy ghost of Steve Jobs for that one. We also have... yeah, I know, it's wrong.
He didn't do Google.
Yeah, I know. So also on top of that, this has a good main camera, right? Pixels have always been good. The problem is that this isn't really much better than earlier Pixels. So in large part, that is because this has the same sensor.
Same exact sensor.
Yeah. So basically, the Pixel 5 has the same sensor as the 4a 5G and the 4a and the 4 and the 3A. Basically, I think Google have been holding themselves back by using what is a very old sensor at this point. It's not as large as the OnePlus and the vast majority of phones out there right now. And I think that they're leaving dynamic range, they're leaving some stuff on the table. They continue to improve their sort of processing and it gets better and better. But while the Pixel has gotten slightly better over the last few years, other phones like the iPhone and Samsung devices have gotten leaps and bounds better to the point where I don't think it's an easy call to say that the Pixel has the best camera anymore. It's a very good one, but I would still say the iPhone, even the iPhone 11 has an edge in many cases.
Right. So like you say, this is no longer a flagship. Everything that you said that this doesn't have makes sense when you're talking about not being a flagship. Problem is, it's flagship priced in 2020.
It's that mid-tier flagship.
Yeah.
We need actual a phrase for it because there's a lot of
that's what I was about to say, is that this is almost now a class in itself because the build quality, the feel of this is better than any phone I think right now, period.
I will say that I like the hardware of the Pixel 5, the size and the feel in the hand and everything more than anything else.
We need to stop tying flagship to being a premium phone because flagship by definition is like the best one they're putting forward. All the specs in the world with the OnePlus, this just feels uncomfortable to me.
And that's a big part of it. You know, it's funny because obviously we did a video recently talking about too many phones, and how many devices, and we talked a little bit about these and that. I don't know if we didn't have the OnePlus at that time.
No, we didn't.
I think I was secretly using the Pixel at that time. But regardless, I found that recently with devices such as the Surface Laptop Go and the Pixel 5, both of which I would say are not the most premium specs in the world.
Right.
Neither of them are the most expensive devices in the world, but they both give me something that I don't get in those very expensive devices. Before, it was a really simple decision. If you had a lot of money and you wanted the best phone, you bought the expensive one, right? Whether it be OnePlus, whether it be iPhone, whether it be Samsung, whatever the case is, you spend more money and you get a better thing. I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore because mid-range specs, whether it be a Core i5 on a laptop or a Snapdragon 765G on a phone, are just simply good enough, right?
I think that's the better indication of what phone you should buy right now is what you feel in your hand, and it's so much harder now where we can't do that and just looking spec for spec.
I will say going into not only just this video, but Techtober has come fierce, and I feel like every 5 seconds there's another device, and we're trying to crank through stuff. On my list of priorities and things I thought were important, Pixel was very low. I'll be completely honest. I used a Pixel for 20 minutes. I was like, no, you know what? This feels right. I'm gonna start using it more. And then at like the end of the day, I'm like, no, this is actually just my daily. Like, it wasn't even a question. There's something to be said for those, I don't wanna say they're intangibles, but there are parts of a device that now that everything to a large degree is good enough, right? You've got good enough performance, you've got good enough battery life, you've got good enough cameras, you've got a good enough screen. Like, as long as you hit that good enough level, then I think a lot of the things that used to not be quite so important, such as the feel in the hand, such as the software updates, such as the little things like, oh, I feel happy about the fact that this is a small portable phone that I don't feel like I need a case for, which makes it even smaller. There's those kind of stuff becomes much more important, where the choice, like, I don't care how much this Pixel costs for me personally, right? Like, it's in my hand right now, right? Like, I'm a very fortunate person to have a lot of tech at my disposal, right? So I'm not thinking about this as, oh, this is great for the money. Side note, I do think it's slightly more too expensive. But regardless, you might put a completely different list of priorities on what kind of device you want to use compared to even a couple of years ago, which is why this sort of upper mid-range, whatever you want to call it, this sort of section of the market is so interesting now, because there's so many legitimate choices based on your personal preference, and that just simply is not the way it's been in the past. I mean, I remember when a flagship just meant a phone. You had the iPhone. True. You had the Samsung Galaxy S. It used to be the smartphone for each carrier. I mean, a few days ago, Apple announced 4 iPhones. But we have so many choices in price. We have so many choices in the spec that you're looking for. We have so many choices in the physical size, where we don't all have to use giant, ugly phones. We can use stuff that is smaller or larger, whatever your personal preference is. And there's no way that you can be upset about that. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe here on This Is for other moments of, oh, I was wrong about this product, and please like the video. And until next time, I'm gonna go switch to a Nexus 5.